Alright, so the first thing you want to do when you're about to spray a table is to make sure that it's clean of any debris, which could be dust, lint, hair, you name it. My steps for doing this usually entail just me blowing it off with compressed air. You really want to get down there in the grain and try to blow out as much as you can. And after you do that, you hit it with what's called tack cloth, which is a cloth that basically has like a wax built into the cloth so it picks up any dust or debris. And that's basically all you have to do to get it clean at first. You also want to do your spraying in some type of environment where there's less likely for dust to land after you're done spraying. For us, we have this spray booth that basically has a huge fan built into this wall and these filter systems on the inside here of the booth as well as the doors. So that way we can get a nice flow of air through here so it doesn't build up of like the fumes, but also as the filters block any dust or debris from coming in and landing on our sprayed surface. All right, so after you get it all clean, you have a nice environment, you want to basically mix your product for spraying. The main product that we use for our tables is called Aristocane. This material here is very durable, very resistant to heat and moisture. Once you get that mixed up, your surface is all prepped, then you can get your spray gun. Basically you want this nice and clean all your little intricate parts prior to filling it with your product. But once you get your gun loaded with the product, you can begin your application. You're gonna have to mess around with your settings a little bit. Each gun is basically composed of 3 spots. It's gonna be different for different brands, but you got your fan control, the amount that it's like physically dumping out of material, and then this controls how much air pressure, which also changes how much material comes out. Once you get that nice and dialed in, you want to basically begin the process of spraying, which for myself, I usually start with the edges. So I'll come down kind of at a low angle, a slight angle to the corner of the table and begin your process here. And you go across the whole thing in one fluid motion. And you actually want to start off of the table and then finish off of the table. You don't really want to start or end while you're still pointing at the table. And that just allows for a more smooth finish. And then you basically make your way all the way around, same process. Finish all the way around. And then what I actually usually do is I actually turn up the amount that it's applying when I start to do a flat surface like this for a large tabletop. There's basically 2 ways you can kind of spray these tables, 2 patterns at least. One which would be a typewriter style where you go in one direction and then you walk all the way back to do your next lap. And then there's the other style where you basically go back and forth. So you make a pass, move up, and then make the pass on the return. So for each material is a little bit different, but you want to have your gun approximately 6 to 8 inches from the surface that you're spraying. And then when you make your second lap, you want to overlap your previous lap by approximately 50%. You have to kind of play around with it. If you have too much overlap, then you're going to have really heavy spots on your overlap, and then if you have not enough overlap, you'll start to see like some speckling. And which brings me to, if you do start to see some speckling where it's slightly dry, you're going to want to do any type of touch-up spray right away while that material is still wet. That way it will accept it. One thing you don't want to do is be spraying the whole table, go ahead and you get to the other side and then you notice a dry spot here. It's probably too late. You can't go back and fix that spot if this material is already starting to set up, because you'll just cause actually more problems. In that case, most likely what you'll have to do is wait for the product to completely dry, re-sand it smooth, and then do another coat to try to blend any little dry spots that you had on the previous run. stain dries pretty quick, especially with our fan in here. Give it about 20-30 minutes for it to dry to the touch before you really want to like open these doors up. And then this Arista stain has, I believe, a 24-hour full cure, which is actually pretty fast, which is one of the reasons why I use it. And then we typically do anywhere from 2 to 3 coats. If we're doing a rivet table with this epoxy, we'll have to do a sealer coat first because the Arista stain doesn't really like to adhere to the river of epoxy without the sealer. In between coats, so say if you're going to do multiple coats, which is recommended to get a thicker protection as well as to actually get a better appearance, you'll have to wait. The Arista stain only has a 2-hour shelf life on it once it's mixed, but on the container it actually says that you should be able to get 2 coats of Arista stain in that 2-hour time limit. So basically you want to do that first coat, probably let it dry for approximately an hour to an hour and a half, and then go ahead, sand it with either 320 or a similar grit sandpaper to knock down any imperfections and also get it ready for the next coat, and then go ahead and apply the second coat. Since it is a 24-hour full cure time, I wouldn't want to do any actual, where you're actually like using the product itself. Like you basically want to set it aside, let it fully cure. That way the finish itself can get nice and hard. It won't get any like imperfections from handling it. Alright, so that's basically how you finish a table. And thank you for watching.